Welcome back to Perfect Peer. My name is Rafaro and I'm joined by.
Rayan.
And actually, before we start, Ram, we should do a quick catch up. Like, how are you? How was your week?
My week was good. I'm trying to think if there was anything interesting.
You went to watch one of those days.
Oh, yeah. I did. Actually, did you end up going to see it or not?
Not yet.
Okay.
Well, it's because one of my friends was like, "Oh, let's all go," and I'm like, "When you guys do this, because then none of us are gonna go, because to organize and
Oh, yeah.
plan."
To wait on everybody. Yeah. It was really good. Isa, she did good.
Was she in the movie?
No. But
She was producing.
yeah. And SZA did good for this to be her first acting show. I think she did really good. She's a good actress to me. She played her character well. And Kiki is Kiki. She did really good. She was
Yeah.
actually herself. Like, I don't think she was playing a character as in like something that's not, I don't think this is out of her comfort zone. Like, this is her
It was
reset.
the perfect casting for that role.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
people said it was really funny. Like
It was so hilarious. The black
but
references were there. This is a
was
movie.
it corny though? Because I saw half. There was half of the people were saying, "Oh, I thought it was really funny." Some of the people were like, it was corny. Like it was too much. It was too many references to the point where it's like, all right, we get it. But I don't know.
I think I like corny, so to me that's good. I enjoy
I
corny.
feel like that I need that. Yes.
Yeah. So I think it was good. I think it was funny. I didn't think it was corny, but then I do like corny, so it probably was corny. But I think she also had a message in it which I liked. Like she was showing, well, I mean, I don't think she was trying to say only black people like are ride or die for their friends, but it was like they are ride or die. They support each other. She also had like a corporate part of it where it was a black woman looking out for another black woman trying to pull her up, which I think is very important. And she also made reference to the fact that could I do a spoiler or no?
No, because I haven't watched it.
All right, never mind. But yes, it
Not
was.
you gonna ruin it for everybody.
I
Gee.
know, I'm sorry. That's why I paused and I was like, wait, should I? Okay. But yeah, I think it was good. What about you? Anything interesting this week? Any realizations?
I think the only annoying thing was I'm trying to get my hair redone and I got it done obviously at home for $35. So I sent a picture and I said, "Hey, so you know how much?" Mind you, the hair is already curled. All you need to do is braid it until the end of my hair. I just recently cut my hair because it was dyed. So the lady did my hair when it was longer.
Yeah.
I was like, I just cut my hair though to cut off all the dyed pieces. So
hmm
my hair's not that long. It's probably like right here.
hmm
And she's like, 260. I said, Tino, 260? You're not even doing anything. And I was like, my long braids like Bohemian, those were 180. So how is this more expensive? You're not adding the curly pieces or anything. You're not even curling this hair. You're just braiding it and then leaving it. Like literally, that's all the braider did. There was nothing. She didn't even mousse it, nothing. You don't need to do anything. Because I got the braid from Zimbabwe. So then she called me. She's like, "Oh, but you want it really small." And I was like, "It's only small in the front. It's like normal-ish in the middle." So now I listen, if I shave my hair off, then it is what it is. And I go to the dentist and they're like, "Hey, so we didn't do your crown properly, so we have to redo it." But guess who doesn't pay for multiple crowns? Insurance. So they're like, "Yeah, so $1,000." But I have a retainer. If you get a crown, your retainer doesn't fit. So you have to get a new retainer. $700. I said, am I not traveling this year? Because all the money, that's 2 grand. I'm upset.
Yeah.
But anyway, such is life. So we are continuing on this week on the science of happily ever after. If you didn't catch the first episode, you definitely should. This is a really fun book, I think, even though it's pretty nerdy, I would think.
Mhm.
Like the way in which they approach it from a science perspective, it's still very valuable. Every single person I tell about this book, strangers and all, they're like, okay, give me the name of the book, I'll go read it. Maybe I'm overselling it to them, but I thought it was really good. So this week we're going to do chapters 3 to 5, which I believe are, I don't even know what the section of the book is, but this is where we actually go into the traits and the fun part, I guess, so that you guys can have a laundry list of items to go pick from and know what you're picking. So, chapter 3 to 4, I would say, went into kind of like the history of why we picked who we picked. And everyone knows this background of like people wanted the strong guy, this whole provide and protect. They explain it, we're cavemen. We needed somebody who was strong. And then you also wanted somebody who was strong because they could go out and protect your family, but also go out and provide food. But you wanted them because you wanted them to pass on the genes to your children. So they then say how, as time evolved, people are like, listen, we don't need to do this whole picking people for survival. But like a majority of us, and the reason you had to do that is because most people weren't going to live to an age of reproduction. So you had to like quickly pick somebody for survival, have your kids, and moms were probably dying because
Right.
childbearing was crazy at that point. But now people were living past, childbearing age, dying at old age. So people are like, I want to actually pick the person that I love, that I get along with. The book was saying when they were doing studies, it's not easy for us to just let go of these other protection and provision traits and qualities that we want for women. And then for men, obviously, physical attractiveness. What I thought was interesting was when they went into the whole physical attractiveness, because everybody loves to be like I had a friend who used to say, I like my guys a little medium ugly. And I said, I can't do medium ugly. Like, if I don't think you're cute, I don't think you're cute. If I think you're cute, but nobody else thinks you're cute, that's one thing. But for me to think you're medium ugly, no, I can't do that. But I think
Need them to be fine in your head.
I don't need in my head, yeah. Like you could think they're medium ugly, but it's like, okay, that's my man. Like I think he's cute, but maybe he don't got a lazy eye. But like the point was that they were saying, yeah, and the whole saying, don't judge a book by its cover. But when it came down to it and they did experiments, people always treated people who were physically attractive way better. And they were saying even though we try to pretend in dating, it seeps into it where even the men were talking to women who they couldn't see. They just pretended like, oh, this is a picture, this is an attractive person. And they were talking to the same people.
Right.
And when they were shown the physical attractive picture, they were so much nicer. The conversation was so much better. But when the person was, I guess, conventionally unattractive, I don't want to call them ugly, they were like way more colder.
Right. Right.
So it was very interesting because people try to really push this whole like you should, look past attractiveness. And I think that you should, because again, the book says physical attractiveness is not an indication of healthy relationships.
Right.
So you should pick other traits. But in that beginning phase, you are going to be kind of bamboozled because the person's attractive. Like you're gonna immediately think, oh my gosh, of course, they're the best person because they're just immediately attractive. And you guys can all think about like dating apps and how that works. People, you're not gonna swipe on an ugly person and hope they have a good personality. Nobody does that.
Right.
If you don't think they're cute, then you X. That's why they tell people, oh, you gotta get in the gym, do this, do that. But sometimes,
Yeah, I mean,
well, yeah.
I think this part of the book, the interesting part is the fact that we have evolved so far as humans. We've
Yeah.
evolved so much, yet still those areas that you had, those actions that you had to take how much years ago, we still instinctively do it today. Like,
But
no,
it makes
what?
sense. It makes sense because and the book was also trying to say like we're trying to do both. Like have the love marriage, but also have the and we'll speak from a woman's perspective, obviously, provide and protect thing. The protect thing, I don't know, because if somebody had a gun, we both dying. But like provision, lots of people, even the men would prefer when you have a kid, they want you to stay at home and take care of the kid. The
Right.
only way that happens is if you could provide for both of us. Like there's no 50-50 if now I got to stay at home
Mm.
and take care of the kids. Like how's that working? So I think there is a childbearing component where it's like that's still a large part of why those requirements of protecting and providing are still so prevalent in what we look for. And then you now want to just enjoy the person.
Yeah.
Law of diminishing returns, because now Rand's going to give you some of the traits, and if we gave you a budget, I wish we could have quantified the traits and said, listen, you only get $100. This trait is worth this much.
Right.
This one's worth this much. What are you going to pick?
Right. Because, yeah, people still pick the stuff that's not even relevant. Like, I think the point of him bringing up the history behind why provide and protect, why you want a handsome man, why you want somebody who is financially stable was to show that, like, those things aren't relevant now because
No.
everybody, like, in terms of the financial part, well, I mean, this is later on in the book, but he talks about how, you only need to be above the poverty line in terms of the difference between people who are happily married that live below the poverty line and above
Okay.
the poverty line. The change does not increase with the more money that you have. So he was saying ideally, if at least one person in the relationship makes around $70,000, and of course we're not thinking about states and stuff, according
Or
to
2024. We're
wait,
talking
wait, wait,
about 10 years ago.
statistics, hold on, you're not happier.
10 years ago, by the way.
Yeah.
Because this was 2014. So that number may be 100K today.
Okay, okay. If two people combined making a key, your level of happiness in marriage does not change because
No,
you.
we're going to be upset. We're going to be upset. We can't go out to eat. We barely can pay rent.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, I don't think he was thinking about states and like
No.
that number in New York is just yeah. But what he was saying is the time, like people say money is like a reason people get divorced or whatever, and he was saying that it's because money provides you options, money provides you choices, money gives you food to eat, like you need to live, you need a place to stay, like you need to
Yeah.
meet your hierarchy of needs. And he said that once you have a house, or not a house but like a place to stay, you're living somewhere, if you had more money, that's not going to be the thing that makes you get a divorce.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'm just being facetious, of course, but like, honestly wouldn't care. Like, I've literally not had money, not in a relationship, but like, even with my friends, and we'd be like, okay, so my parents didn't give me money this week. You got money? And then be like, yeah. I'm like, okay, so you pay.
Right.
We can only afford fries today. But because we would still make it a point to go out, even though we didn't have money, just because we had fun doing stuff. And so I think it would be the same sort of dynamic where it's like, as long as I could do this with you, we need to figure it out for sure. But at least we have somewhere to stay. We could figure out food. Maybe the extras we can't do for now, but we're at least taken care of. Like, it's not worth upsetting that dynamic to go find somebody who makes more, I personally think.
Right. Right. I agree. And then the other thing he was saying is related to what you were talking about in terms of the reasons why we pick somebody who is strong or whatever. He said that the way that comes across now when you're trying to pick a partner, it feels instinctive. It feels like I like this person just because I like them, and you can't put words to it, but it's really just that historical.
Like attraction, maybe?
Huh?
Like, is it an attraction thing? Like, you
Right.
fit the profile of somebody who would be a good partner.
Right. Yes. Like you're saying, oh, I'm attracted to them and it's butterflies and it's feelings and it's stuff. And he was like, it's really your genetics kicking in. And the things that your genetics basing why you like this person now is not relevant to if you're going to be happy long term. Like if you're saying, I naturally like this strong man, like, oh, it's attraction. Oh, it's like butterflies. He's like, is it butterflies or is it that 100 years ago, you needed somebody strong because that's how you survived. So he was saying that you need to bring logic into it because the attraction might be flawed.
You know what makes me like, which trade stands out is like being tall.
Yeah.
Like if you ask a lot of girls, they're just like, I just want to be able to wear heels and my guys taller than me. That actually like makes sense to me, but it actually doesn't make sense, guys.
I
Like
mean,
that's not like a thing. That doesn't
that's
matter.
a survival thing. It's not,
Right.
like you, that's not a, I mean,
It's not going to contribute to a healthy relationship. It has
yes,
nothing to do with anything,
yes,
basically.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
exactly. If you could wear heels or not wear heels, like, come on, in the
Like
grand
who
scheme
cares
of,
what the pictures look like? Now I do. So let's be clear. But like I'm not,
in the grand scheme of life, right? So
but
that's
you
why,
can't,
do
it's
you want,
hard to unprogram yourself
yeah.
from wanting that.
Yes, yes, yes. That's why he was saying just be conscious of it. So when you're
Yeah.
thinking about like, oh, I like this person, be like, okay, how does this relate to how we're going to be forever? Because the traits that he talking about, he said that those are like your personality. Those are things that are going to stay consistent over time, regardless of the experiences that you have. If you
Yeah.
tend to be a more extrovert person, all of a sudden at 50 years old, unless I guess you have some like real tragic experience, you're not going to immediately come an introvert. So when you're picking somebody, think about how that trait, since it's going to be consistent over your relationship, how could you deal with that? Is that going to help you be happy or unhappy? And if you see in something that's going to be unhappy, then you need to think about this partner, like, do I want to be with them or not?
Yeah, and I think it's very very interesting. Like I wish the book though, this is one of my criticisms and I think we talked about this before, is active like solutions while he's going through these challenges within dating to be like, so when you meet somebody and you're immediately have the urge to be like, let me pick them because of this, like, what are some of the things in real time? Because it's so easy for you to logically be like, this, I'm going to approach it. But as soon as you see the whatever your profile is of a
Right.
perfect partner,
Right.
those things go out the window. And I don't even
Immediately. And
remember about fairness, loyalty.
right. And that's
He's
why
cute.
that's literally what I think what he was saying is the fact that I'm telling you about it and I'm making you aware, be conscious of it. Like that's the quote unquote solution to
Yeah.
them, awareness, because now you're choosing with more wisdom, right? You're not just going instinctively with your body. You're like, okay, no, let me
Yeah.
think about this. Yes, he's tall, but he talking to me crazy. I need to choose between. I'm just giving an example.
I know.
Be like, okay, he talking to me crazy. That is not something that's gonna sustain a relationship long term. I probably need to rethink this. And another thing that he talked about that I actually want to hear your feedback on is he was saying that he thinks early on in a relationship, and I don't know if you remember this part, early on in your relationship, you should introduce the person to your friends. And he wanted it like a statistical way. As we said, the book kind of nerdy. He was like, yeah, have him go out with your friends. Don't let it be too much pressure on him because since it early, you don't want him to have like a bad experience and be like, oh, I'm out. But you want him to interact with your friends and then give your friends a survey to be like, do you think he's agreeable? Do you think he's friendly? Do you think he's neurotic? Do you think whatever? What do you think about the role of having your friends judge somebody early on in the relationship?
So I think this is how I actually grew up. But in America, it's very nucleus family. Like people's lives are very kind of hyper independent, and so you only care about your nucleus family. That's why people can say like, "Well, I'm not going to respond to my friends because we're all living busy lives," but you would definitely respond to the person you're dating. There's like a deprioritization of any other relationship but your like partner. And I say that to say I'm actually used to being so like weaved in with community and the person that you're dating that even those little things like, oh, I wouldn't let my partner go with my friend to the store because of blah blah blah. I wouldn't let them, why are they even following each other? That wouldn't be a big deal because we all kind of know each other. I've seen you both interact with each other. There isn't this whole like, I'm keeping them separate, so there should be no kind of interaction. So I actually think it would be very useful depending on how you live your life. So if you are more of a community person, then it makes sense. But if you're not, then like there's really no reason because not only you're not really bringing them into your world like that, but you're also probably not really taking their advice anyway to that extent. Like you're probably cherry picking the things you share to your friends, which you should always do anyway. You can't share everything. But I don't know that people usually give their friends enough to fully judge if the person's suitable. They'll give them enough when they like them. And then if something really happens and it's like, okay, I'm going to tell you. And then if they take them back, they might regret it later and be like, oh yeah, now I told you because now we all mad at
Right.
your man because why you tell me he was
Right.
beating you up? Now I gotta beat him up, but now you took him back, so I can't beat him up. So now I just gotta be mad in the corner, act like he didn't beat you up. But I wanna find this clip from Estee Perel, speaking to Trevor Noah because she actually in a recent podcast episode, and I'll find it and insert it here, but she was actually saying the exact same thing that we go out of our worlds to go find somebody when we should bring people into our worlds and see if they fit in.
Mm-hmm.
And you should do low effort things like me and all my friends are going to go to the museum. The
Mm-hmm.
person just comes, they're just a friend. They don't even need to be introduced as anything. Then, oh, hey guys, this is Rand. This is Rand. Doesn't need a title. Hey, this is Rand coming to visit. Just see how they interact with you and your friends. Because again, if you are that person who has more of a community based life, they are going to be interacting with your friends. You don't want somebody that all your friends hate and you're the only one who likes them. And so she was saying that's actually how people should do it. And your friends would be better able to tell you, nah, this isn't worth it.
Yes,
No,
that's
I was just gonna say because people usually when you go and tell them what somebody else did, they're like, yeah, I could tell that kind of guy, that guy,
he
yeah,
would
yeah,
do
he
that.
was never. But they never said it because they weren't invited to give their opinion.
Right. And
That might be a hot take though,
yeah,
in America.
but yeah, so when he was saying that in my head, I'm like, I am actually surprised that this is the advice he would give. I mean, I understand the reasoning behind it, but I was thinking that work in real life. Like, I feel like if I was to introduce, I mean, I get Esther's perspective of like, don't even give it a title. But in the book, he was saying introduce them to your friends as the person that you're talking to. However, the distinction was the reason why he was saying to do that is because he was saying that people on the outside tend to be very good at picking out somebody's characteristics versus you in the relationship.
They're objective. They have nothing to gain from that. They're just gonna be
Exactly.
like, oh hell no.
Because remember,
Unless they hate you and want you to be
yeah,
single.
yeah. Remember last week we were talking about how you get like this inflated sense of who this person is, like the rose-colored glasses essentially. And your friends don't have that, so they could see who he is for who he is
Immediately. Yep.
immediately. And I felt like that was a lot because he was saying do it early. And I
Yeah.
get why he's saying do it early because you don't want to be in a relationship too long and now it's hard for you to cut out. But I don't know if that could work in real time. Like I think, and I'm thinking from Rihanna female dating a man, bringing this man into her friends, that's like intense.
I think it's less intense than you're thinking. I think
Okay.
now that we're not in college though, it would just be as simple as group activities. It would
Hmm.
just be group like, hey, let all of us go and it doesn't have to be like it's just all your friends and
Hmm.
then this guy and he's based and then obviously you've told your friends now so that nobody hits on them.
Right.
But now it's like almost like an interview because there's always gonna be
Yeah.
the intense friend that's gonna be like, "What kind
Right.
of job you got? What are
Right.
you stable
Right.
or whatever?" Like you don't want them to feel like that. But it could be a group activity. Let's all go. He could bring like 2, 3 people, and
Yeah.
we're all going out.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah. So
very
bring
low.
his friends too. So yeah, you could.
It's very kind of you. Just have to set the expectations low for like the what am I trying to say? Like this interview process that's going to kind of happen
Yeah.
needs to be low level. Don't make it a dinner because there's too much time to be asking questions. It needs to be, we could go eat, but before that, like an activity, paintball, whatever.
Bowling something.
Bowling's a great one. And
Right.
perfect, but they would be able to pick up things where it's like you're like, nah, I don't think he meant it like that. Nah, I don't like. I feel like they're gonna be like, mm, because there's three things that he said.
Yeah.
You gotta go. Whereas you're like, oh no,
Right.
I think he's so cute though. So maybe
Yeah.
it'll.
Because the studies that they did, or the ones that he talked about in the book, said that friends and family were like 80% accurate in predicting if a couple would get divorced over the couple themselves.
Yep.
Like they were like so
Even in the first section, they were when it didn't work out, majority of the family were like, yo, yeah, we actually knew that was gonna happen.
yeah,
Like I don't know why. And she's talking about this how we met, this how it was. That is not how it was.
right.
Like you are revisionist history. Like you don't remember coming to me or this and this happening.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
could see more. Again, that more objective point of view. But you would need to value and trust the people enough to actually even believe them. Because if you're now just going to be bringing people around your friends, but you're not going to be taking the advice, this is not even like it's pointless. That's
Mhm.
what I'm saying. If you really do value that the people you pick as
It's
your community, and if you kind of exist in that kind of space, then it would make sense. And I honestly think that having not ever had a wedding, I think that when you do have a wedding, the people that you're picking to be like guests and also the bridal party, those need to be people who are going to hold your marriage accountable and they want to keep it together. Like it's not just let me just invite all kinds of people. It's really like who can I actually, even when things are really tough, and like I get that people always want to keep, but let's not tell anyone because we want to keep things secret. Sometimes you do have to go to people. So those are some of the people, parents, depending on how good they are, bridal party guests.
They're giving
These
you.
are the people. And now, in fact, like Trevor Noah was like, you know what? When people have a divorce, y'all need to come before everyone because y'all made me fly here for the wedding. You need to tell me why you divorced it. Like
Especially
that.
the people who getting divorced so fast. I mean, no shade to anybody who, had to like figure things out and they sadly were already married, but
Yeah.
it's tough. It is tough. It is tough. But okay, so you agree with the bringing him early, let the
That's
friend.
just how I grew up though. Like I think like that's why even going home it was just so easy to exist because I'm like, oh, I forgot how like everyone's just in everyone's space. And here I'm like the opposite, which is actually feels so abnormal now that I'm back because I'm like, huh, my life here is actually completely almost a 180 as far as like even being on social media when I was at home, barely on social media. Like, let me go play with my 18 months
So
old
whatever.
niece or yeah, like who cares? The other thing though that I found interesting. Oh wait, actually, let me ask you though, would you even consider that? Because I feel like you wouldn't.
No,
That's
no, it was too soon. Like I
no,
want
but at all though, at all.
no, 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 no. Definitely, you could meet my friends and stuff. But
No,
I
but would they
think
be able to give you an opinion if
no,
you've already
I
decided?
wouldn't
Yeah,
take it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You could give me, and I will feel. I think I would be hurt because I'll be like, damn, I like this person, and I would be upset. I think, you know what? I think if I am bringing you to introduce, if I'm bringing the person to meet my friends, it's because I already know they will like him. And it would be because I like him. So if
Okay.
I was to bring somebody and you come back and was like, the vibes wasn't there, I would be so hurt because I think my perspective will be like, well, I like him and I thought you would like him. So I'd be disappointed that my expectations weren't met.
But if everybody except one said the vibes weren't there, are you now gonna sit back and be like,
Yeah,
okay,
I
I
will.
have to think about this
Yeah,
because there's no way all these people that I
yeah,
thought would like him. Okay, okay.
yeah. I would take
I
that.
think that a lot of people wouldn't though.
Oh, they
And
wouldn't.
I'm not mad at them because they would probably be like, well, y'all not the ones in the
Right, right, right.
relationship. But
No, I will feel very sad and I will take it into consideration. I will. It will be tough though, because I feel like once I decide
yeah.
on somebody, hello, I
In
decide.
this day and age,
But
you mean to tell me I need to start over? Absolutely
yeah,
not. We finna what's the problem? Okay, we all gonna sit down and
yeah,
hash it
I
out.
will. Yeah. It's gonna
Yeah.
be tough. having to go back and be like, damn, everybody will like him. Like, this is something I really need to take into consideration. Yeah, it will be hard, especially if everybody is like, girl, you need to leave him type deal.
Which happens a lot.
However, what I'm thinking and hoping is that because I'm giving myself credit here, I would say I would hope that I'm a good enough judge of character so that even though I like this person, I probably had some kind of gnawing feelings like, everything not right, everything not right. And then I bring them to everybody and everybody confirming that part of me.
Yeah.
I think I would be mature enough to be like, okay, you know what, this not working. Like everybody's seeing it. Because at the end of the day, when
You know.
we are dating for long-term happiness, you know? So
Yeah.
because that's the goal, I think I'd be more open, but I will be hurt.
And I also don't want a situation where I'm picking somebody, well, and like we're going to functions or game nights. Everybody don't like him.
Yeah, yeah.
Then they're gonna stop inviting me because they're like, nah, because she gonna bring him. No, but I thought that another thing that was like super something that we keep hearing, and I think that that's where the focus has been on social media, and um, Kevin Samuels kind of brought this into light was market value. He does speak about that. He says like in the book, if you had a dollar amount, you know, what are the things you're going to pick? And then he also says there are limitations to your wish list depending on your market value. So the less desirable you are in all the categories that the other person is looking for. So like for men, attractiveness, whatever else, I don't know what's on y'all's list. I'm not a man. Whatever's on that list, they're saying if I don't meet those things,
Mhm.
I have a less budget to work with on the things that I should want, which I don't actually particularly 100% agree with. I don't think again, this is a scientific thing. So there's so many nuances that he's obviously not going to touch, but he did basically say like you can't just just want what you want and not factor in what you're providing as a partner. So you obviously disagree with that.
No, I think it depends on the situation because when we're talking about like personality traits and stuff, like the big theme in this book is agreeableness. And I think honestly, that's why you made that face?
Because the undertone from social media is like agreeableness is like submission, and submission in the social media world, which is sometimes not the real world, but sometimes is people on the dating apps, is women just need to be know your place.
Huh? That's what
No, no,
social
no.
see.
I'm but some no, but sometimes on the apps, there's definitely that you can tell though the person. Like if I've seen people who are like the things that I'm looking for, and they put like feminine fit X because I already know you're on that Kevin Samuels tip, which is a little more harsh in approach, I think, as far as like, yeah, women just need to. If I'm giving you the money, I'm providing. You just need to be submissive, make sure the home's good, cook. What? I'm not allowed to have an opinion? Like I'm not smart. I can't like contribute to your career goals and whatnot. Like I should just be. I couldn't do that if I wanted to. I'm sorry.
The thing about that kind of advice, because I honestly tune out of that. Like any page that starts saying that kind of thing, X, 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 X,
X.
I don't want that on my timeline. I honestly, my timeline is very sappy, very corny, as you would say. Like I don't.
Mine is hair and makeup.
I mean, you remember like when you saw the so we were talking about videos, and I had a description of the saved videos, and I had dating advice that I like because
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't
But if
like
I
them.
don't like it
Yeah, but that type of guy, I'm not interested in him. So I don't want to hear
at
his
all,
perspective. Like, so what? All I gotta do is what? Just be there. Like, if I was to be with that type of guy, we wouldn't work out. What the hell?
I wouldn't even consider it. Like because immediately after you say that, I'm gonna roll my eyes and now I'm not submissive anymore. Now you don't like me, and you're right. You shouldn't, because there's no way I cannot control. No, goodbye.
I was trying to remember what I was gonna say about the agreeable thing. Dang.
Well, no, I was asking you about I guess, market value and this whole.
I didn't know about this. Well, okay, no, I've heard about Kevin Samuels. I just don't give
Yeah, don't
people that
subscribe.
follow him much attention.
He's no longer with us.
Oh yes, 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 that's true. And don't be chasing my dreams. But the market value things. Okay, what I was gonna say is because the attraction part plays a role in like how people like who they like.
Yeah.
Thing about market value is like it may not be important for the person that you end up with, like the person who you would be happy with. Like the when we talked about, we had probably another time we'd post about a girl who had like this criteria and her friend was like, oh, your standards too high or whatever. I don't fully agree with that kind of thinking because one, you only need one. I mean, if you want to be in a relationship with one person, you only need one. And what could be low market value to somebody else is high market value in another
To
market.
another person.
So you just gotta be liking people who like what you have to give. Hopefully there would be a match where what you have to give, it have a market of men who like that
Yeah.
and they like what you have to they like what you have to give and you like what they have to give and together you'll make a good match. So
Because
it's less about
what? Yeah. What I was gonna say is to that as well. That person, because remember they were saying they're fat, but they want somebody who's fit, and it's like sometimes a fit person wants a fat person.
yes, yes. So I don't the market value thing is just it's I don't give it much mind because remember in this book he talking about um he not telling you to settle, but he's like, remember when you pick your options, you want to have multiple men to pick from or multiple partners to pick from. So he
So
just
that the
not
probability and the odds, yeah.
probability of the odds are better, but at the same time, in life in general, you really only need one, and sometimes it could be misaligned, like the whole market value it could be misaligned, but it could still work and you could still find that person. So that's the only part about
Yeah.
the book that I am like that last episode how I was like, even if you have your list and it's very picky and it's very specific, still follow it.
Just it just needs one. Or have it in the like back of your mind, or at least
Yeah,
like just know that the nice to haves maybe
yeah,
aren't the focus, but if you could still find the nice to haves, like why not? Like why wouldn't I want somebody who's attractive? Like
yes, yes. And I think in terms of people dating, they need to think it's possible. I feel like a lot of people kind of set themselves up when they look, especially when they've been single for a long time, they kind of lower their standards and they kick away the nice to haves because they feel like I ain't see it in so long, I ain't getting it. So maybe he don't need to have any money at all. He just need to have a shirt. And it's like, no, he still need to be able to be financially stable. That's okay to still want. I'm just giving,
I agree. No, I do agree. People need to be able to take care. We're adults. Like,
yeah,
what are you gonna do? Take care of him? Even if I would say the same thing for like to my brother. If he wasn't if he was dating somebody who couldn't take care of themselves, I'm like, yeah, that's maybe more socially acceptable. But why would you want to be with somebody who, if anything happened, your kids are not going to even have any stable parent? Like, let's just say someone dies, the other person just can't even make money. Like for me, it's not all about the dynamics of like male or female. Sometimes it's just practicality, like
yeah,
longevity.
yeah.
Why wouldn't you want more money, live on one income,
Right,
invest the other? And I know that sounds really crazy to most people, but I actually know people who live like that. Like
absolutely.
legit are very comfortable because they're like, yeah, we're both going to be bosses. And it's really not going to be a big deal on what you're doing versus what I'm doing.
And this is this is like a thing that I truly believe with relationships and social media. I feel like this was helpful for me. I kind of limited all the like looking at things that did not align with the perfect relationship. I know this is like a far-fetched thing,
Yeah.
but what I wanted to keep in my mind was it is possible to find somebody who will treat you right, who handsome enough for your liking, who have all the unique things that you want. I try to like drown my social media with that. So that is what I was seeing every day versus the scarcity mindset of like, well, if you're in Atlanta, half the men gay, so your chances of finding some, okay, maybe I should not have given that direct example, but I get, okay, so
No, people say that though. People say
yeah,
that.
I think because Alabama is close to Atlanta, a lot of Atlanta things used to come up. And
Yeah.
I kind of push those things out of like what I would see because I wanted to be able to notice the unique person when they came. Because when
Oh yeah.
you have in your mind all the negative stuff, that's what you would see. So you might miss the unique unicorn who really is a once in a lifetime person. You
Yeah.
might miss him because it's not in your view. Like your mind's so all about,
At least he has
men are
versus
bad, all men
yeah,
are
like an
good.
at least mindset. Like a at
Yes,
least he had and it's like
yes, at least mindset or I like this but mindset. Like I kind of
but I think the advice that should be out there more is where to where to find the people that you would be interested in. I know it's easy because people just say, "Oh, go do the things you like, go do your hobbies." Sometimes it doesn't really work like that. Like it's not one to one. Like I like going to concerts. I'm not gonna find my person at a concert maybe because it's a concert. Yeah, it's kind of hard to do that. But I think that's where the focus should be and why people have such not low expectations, but less positive
yeah,
like mindset because it's like I don't know where to go. You're saying it's possible, but if it's dating app, it's probably not as great because the algorithm is also gonna push what they want to push, and apparently, if you say you're white, you get better options than even if you're not. Yeah, if you say you're white, you get better options than if you say like you're black, even if you're not white. Like the app is not actually gonna be like, nah, girl, you black, but it just might give you better the 6'3", the this, the this, the this, the this, the this, which is crazy. But my point is just that that's I think where most of the content, and maybe I just don't follow it. It's not I don't follow enough relationship anything anyway. I'm like sports, makeup, hair, and babies. But they if there was more of that content of like, oh, if this is the kind of person you want, this is where you should look. This is the kind of person you want. Even these whole New York has a lot of like, oh, speed dating, like sign up and you can come to the next. There was one, and I was actually gonna go. I was like, let me do a research purposes. It was sold out for women, ran for all the events, and I was like,
yeah. And in church events too, because people be like, "Oh, find your man in church," and then you go to it and it's like five men, and
I can legit tell y'all that yeah, no, I
everybody
don't.
already know they're trifling, and they showed up. Yeah, that is true. And I know this is, this thing, yeah, because I try to advocate for online. However, I had read a statistic, probably this was like 2 years ago, so this was after 2020. They were saying that the best time to find somebody was in 2020 because people weren't allowed to go out. So everybody who wanted to date had no choice but to go online. So the variety of men that you ended up having online was more. And it was in a concentrated place. Because at that time, how much apps it have? I don't know, five, six?
Yeah,
And now, and plus just dating changing I don't know, I feel like every few months the trend has be like drastically.
something new. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, online. I'm still an advocate for it, but I know it's tough. And I know it takes long.
And it depends on your location as
It depends on
well.
your
And
location and it depends on which app because different cities, different apps are popular. Yeah, yeah.
I didn't know that either. Like
Yeah,
some
like
apps are, yeah.
yeah, every like the good men, quote unquote good men, they're on different apps versus others in different like in one city Bumble is like the it app you're getting all the attractive like quality
Yeah.
education type thing man and then in another city ain't nobody using that everybody using Hinge
Mm,
So
that's crazy.
yeah, but yeah, the whole way you go, I don't know because remember back in the day before dating apps, everybody was going out. Where was everybody finding their people then? If they
But
were,
it was so much fun to go out. Now it's just like I was listening to music from 2014 the other day. I was listening to Two Chains, and I just went back to college, and I was like, oh my goodness, like this used to be a jam. But that's because when people went out, people were actually going to enjoy the music, like dance, everything. So there was more of an interaction. Now, apparently, I haven't gone to the club in
yeah,
years. Um, and it's mainly because apparently now it's just sections. So sections is more of a I'm trying
elite.
to flex on you. Yeah, and it's like there's not as much interaction. And if the guys are gonna interact with the girls, it's because the girls are almost the guys want them to come to their section. And then they just stand there and apparently they don't even speak to you.
Yeah, actually, I know what it
What?
is too. I know what it is. I would, and this is me theorizing from like this conversation. Now, a lot more people have social anxiety, right? It's so intimidating for men to go. I know for men to go, one man to go up to a group of girls, get shut down, like that level, the risk and like the feeling of embarrassment is way more intense than it would have been a long time ago. So I could see
Yeah,
that.
because they're gonna record you, put you online. Now you look crazy, like, and then nobody wants to date you because you were the guy was looking
And
crazy on the.
now they have all these pages where it's like, I know, what is it? I'm not your man. That's not your man. Have you heard of that one? Yeah, it's like each city have it, and you could post somebody in there, and girls will be like, "Yeah, I dated him. This was my experience. He sucks. He did this. He did that." And other people who dated him will also respond and say what he's like. It's like a Facebook page thing.
Yeah, I think I'm okay on that.
Yeah.
Why would, but
I,
why?
I'm just saying that I could understand how going
Yeah.
out is like kind of a hard option too, because it have
There's too much risk for the guys to, and the guys did say they're not going to approach anymore. They're like, oh, because you guys are also going to make us not only seem like weirdos, but the whole Me Too, I think Me Too movement,
yes.
they keep bringing that up to say we also don't want to seem like we're, but I'm like, when people used to approach you though, it wasn't, I don't know, it wasn't in a like harassing way, not from when I remember anyway. So, but they just want to steer clear from any possibility that anything happened. So I see a lot of people being like, yeah, we're just not going to approach anymore. So you guys need to approach us. And the girls are like, hold on. I wasn't raised approaching people. Like, I don't even know what to
Approach
say.
a guy when you slide in a DM. No,
Sliding a DM to say, well, I've
like
slid
some
in
kind
DMs
of
to say
flirty.
funny things, but it wasn't like to actually flirt with them. It was actually just to like actually comment on something that they said in the story. And they'll respond, but I'm not like, now that you've responded,
You wouldn't flirt with somebody. Yeah,
I wouldn't know what to say.
it don't matter whatever it is, even if he looks silly. What?
No, I actually wouldn't know what to say. I'm not saying I does. I would. I
Yeah.
wouldn't know. They would probably be like, there's probably people I've messaged who are probably like you go and see somebody like a photo on your profile, like they'll go to your profile and then like a photo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, so what happens next? Like, am I supposed to? Because they probably thought I was saying something to get their reaction or to get them to go see the profile. So now that they've liked the profile,
Mm-hmm.
am I not supposed to follow up and say something?
If you like them, would you?
I wouldn't know what to say. Well, thanks for liking my picture.
I mean, it would be like, oh, I see you in my profile. No?
Then if they actually, I was gonna say then if they leave you on red, but I don't know if I'd care.
I mean, if yeah, if they do, I would at least risk it. Like I would approach somebody.
I think I would just need to figure out what to say. It's also hard to just cold DM people
Yeah, yeah, no, call
because I'm
DM,
like,
right? And no, I feel like I probably call DM somebody already, and they
you can
let.
reply to a story. You can
But
reply to a story.
well, I don't think I was into stories. This was like years ago. I don't think stories was a thing back then. But I definitely, I'm not opposed to the girl going up to the guy. Like, cause
No, but I'm saying that's what
the guys were saying we're not gonna approach anymore. The girls gotta do it. I'm not opposed to doing it. At least You know, some
It's not an opposed thing, but it's just like I think now then you're already making it difficult because you're saying I'm not going to approach you. So if somebody approaches you, they're going to need to be aggressive enough so that you then feel like, okay, I can respond. Because if everyone's scared that, oh, me too, I don't want to be accused or I don't want to look silly, the girl's gonna have to overcompensate than they would have years ago to
Mhm.
make sure like, no, no, you're good. Like you could respond to me, you're good. And I don't know that girls are doing the first step, let alone the second step to do that. Like it's too much. But I think that there'd be more success stories if there was that someone could break down that barrier to be like of like rejection.
Yes,
Like if everyone could just approach and it's not a big deal,
right.
we'd have more success stories,
I,
honestly.
I agree. But what I was just thinking, and this is Ryan making a stretch.
Oh, maybe
I
I should DM people after this.
huh?
I said maybe I should DM people after this. Well, people. Okay,
I
that's crazy.
mean, but what I'm wondering if it's if it's and somebody who's a therapist or psychologist or studying this could answer this question. But what I'm thinking is, I wonder if it's linked to me being open to do that is linked to my attachment style of so
Maybe.
I will be on the on the scale of anxious to
Avoidant.
avoidant, and what's the one where you're like
Secure.
secure. I tend to lean to the anxious side. And the type of anxious is like I am the type to be like dive all in, cling, 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 like because I want you to stay.
Yeah, we're together now. What?
Huh?
Like we're together now. We went on
Exactly.
it. Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm wondering if because I lean to that side, that's why I'm not afraid to take the chance because the anxious attachment type is the type to be like, I want it and I want it close and I will do whatever. So I'm like, oh, it's absolutely worth the risk.
You'll take the initiative because it's worth it. Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And
Yeah.
also because you need the feedback so that yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, maybe that's why. That'd be interesting.
Right? Like, has somebody studied this? Who are
I
the people?
hope so.
I know. I know. We need to probably look into that. Who are the people? How the people who are willing to approach or not approach, how is it linked to your attachment style? I mean, of course, secure people, they just feel they're confident and they're like,
I hate y'all so much.
"Oh, like, I know you would like me because I am amazing and I'm confident
Yeah.
that the
And
fact
also, I think you're amazing. So, like, what do you mean? Why are you
was
being
I will just
anxious?
approach you and it will be all fine.
Yeah, you're amazing. What do you? What is this insecure thing? Like, what's going on? And it's like, what? What?
Of course, if I come, I'm not leaving anywhere. Like, what? What? I'm not even thinking about that.
Yeah, like, why are you stressing me? What you mean we need to, make it official now? I was gonna make it official anyway, but what's the rush?
I know.
It's like, no, I need to know now.
So I would be interested to see if there's a relationship there.
Yeah, maybe we got some homework. We'll come back and let them know for
I
sure.
know. I know.
That would be interesting. But yeah, now I have to DM somebody after this.
I think you should. I think at least somebody. Because the other thing is, I feel like
But also, what am I judging it off of? Just because they're cute? Because I don't know these people.
yeah, you don't. But also, I think that some of my friends that I've had conversations with who's been on the like they have the mindset of like, oh, the guy should come and approach me. I'm like, okay, but what if when the guys who approach you, you don't like any of them? But
Also,
the options.
I think that women are also raised with this whole being picked, and it takes away your agency to pick people.
That's one.
You're coming up with this list so that you can pick, but then all you do is wait to get picked. There needs to be some sort of like, yeah, there needs to be some sort of effort to also choose the person that you want way more. Like you need to be on the offensive versus just always, I'm gonna wait and then respond.
Right. And the other thing is, you're talking about you mentioned like, oh, where to go, whatever.
I
And
also see a lot of cute people in New York, by the way. And
and
like the thing is, in New York, maybe not as much as like other cities, but I'll see them and I'll be like, oh, I'm probably never gonna see you again. I think there's 17 million people in New York
Yeah.
City. That
Yeah.
just means the boroughs, not the state. I'm probably never gonna see you again. So now I need an opening line, opening,
Yes. Yes.
closing. It needs to be everything in one
Yeah.
line. Cause
Like
you got 2 seconds. Maybe I see them on the train platform. They're probably like, why are you coming up to me? Well, maybe they're like, okay, maybe you're cute, whatever. I'll give you the time of day. Maybe she's asking for directions. But if I need to ask them for their number, I have 30 seconds.
Yeah. Because, okay, so I feel like I remember in an episode that I watched with Matthew Hussey, and he was saying that the people in New York would be like, oh, I saw this cute guy in this car next to me driving. How do I get him to like get his number because I want to like pick or I want to make the connection? And he's like, okay, in those situations, come on, you can't be like,
I disagree. I disagree. Because maybe not driving, but in a train,
mm-hmm.
you have 30 seconds.
And you need
You
to.
just, I don't know what you would do. I'm sorry, you dropped something and maybe it's
That's
your
the thing.
phone.
They talk about the open language. So like you showing somebody like, hey, if you want to be the girl who is approached, you still want to be inviting to the guy who that you want to approach you, and you
Yes.
be like flirty or whatever. I don't know. And flirty is like a kind of tricky word because it's like how you do it actually. But you still
You
want,
could ask for directions.
yeah,
Like you could, that's an invitation to be like, hey,
yes.
how do I get here? Okay, and also like, can I also ask you something else? And maybe like your keypad's like the phone number.
Hey, Loki, honestly, maybe this is me. If somebody come up to me and ask me for direction, and remember we were talking about the if I'm attracted to you, I'd like it. If not, I wouldn't. But if somebody who I think is cute and they come up to me, ask me for directions, and also ask me for my number, I'd give it to them.
No, me too. I've actually had so many instances in because New York men are hilarious. Like they will say the most craziest things where even if you wanted to ignore sometimes, you're gonna laugh because it's funny.
Right, right.
But like someone will do something I can't even remember now because I haven't been outside in a while. But they'll say something like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, miss, you dropped something," and you look and they're like, "Nah, I just wanted to ask you for your number." And sometimes they're cute enough, but sometimes they're not. But again, that's very easy to be like, "All right, I'll give you my number," because
Right,
you weren't gonna get my attention any other way.
right, right, right. So
The
maybe,
whole grocery store, the tomato falls
yeah,
down. We're gonna pick it up at the same time. Please, guys, like it's probably not gonna happen. You might just need to approach him. Like
right.
just go talk to him. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe after this.
But I do, I
I actually don't also care about rejection as much because I think I am constantly telling myself as well that I probably don't want everybody to want me. Like I just want the person that's for me.
which is
Otherwise, that means I'm probably being too generic with who I am and maybe because at the end of the day, I think the relationship just needs to be you shouldn't feel like you need to be somebody else.
mhm,
And if multiple people like if so many people like you, I'm not sure that they're getting to see exactly who you are all the time because
right.
that's just not realistic.
Right. And you only need one. You
Only need one.
one husband.
We're in business. If you had a business idea and nobody wanted to invest in you, people get 1,000 no's, but then they get the one.
The one, yes, like I think the best example is the Harry Potter lady. What's her name again?
The transphobe. Um.
The trans.
Uh. Yeah, she's transphobic. She's crazy. What's
I
her
don't know
name?
what her name is. She wrote how much of a time she took Harry Potter to a ton of people. Everybody was saying no until the one person said yes, and look how big that
So
trilogy,
amazing.
that storyline is. Yeah, you only need one.
Only need one, guys. So, I mean, we are talking about a book that's about three wishes, but now we're just contradicting the book. I don't know. How do we like this book and we're now saying go get your
I know.
unicorn?
I think we like, there are things in the book that are like good knowledge to have. Like you really should focus on somebody's personality as like
Yeah.
one of the top things you want in a partner. Yes. However, I think the part that we are trying to adjust with is the cut it down to just three.
It's not realistic. It's realistic to maybe prioritize. All we're saying is
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
prioritize,
that's what I'll say. We
prioritize.
need to
Yeah,
prioritize those things. But okay, I think that's it. Because I think that's is what he's saying, right? Like prioritize things like personality, prioritize things that would make you happy over a long period of time,
yeah.
and don't rush for the things that not don't have
That
any
are
direct relationship to relationship success or relationship satisfaction. Like, well, yeah, it just depends on what it is, but I agree with you. Like, some things need to be prioritized over other things. And one of the big things he drives the point home of is like personality or who this person is in terms of, kindness, fairness, loyalty. Like, you need the person to be nice.
and he might be medium ugly in the beginning, but then you might end up thinking he's cute. So you might, good for y'all. I'm not doing that, but
I mean, because sometimes like gaining weight and stuff, I think about that. Like, especially the whole argument with women are like, okay, I have to have a baby and it's taking me long to shed it. And it's literally, I could diet, I could eat nothing, but just because of my genetics, after having a baby, it just wrecked my body and I cannot lose it. What's gonna happen then, right? Like, what you gonna do?
plastic surgery.
I
Just
mean,
kidding. I'm not kidding. But I'm just saying, like, I think, yeah, I think that the person who is meant for you, though, would understand whatever option you like. I don't like people who have ultimatums of, like, I would just never. It's like, you actually don't know. You don't know. Because once you really like somebody, there's so many things that you'd be able to be like, actually not a big deal. So I also stay away from people with like definitives. I will never. You can have your red flags, you can have your boundaries, but if it's stuff that like I've met somebody who's like, yeah, my wife cannot wear makeup. I like them to wear their natural hair. And those preferences are comparable to me to like me wanting height. What does that have to do with anything? And they're like, oh, it's because I want my children to understand that, their mom isn't ashamed of like their natural look. Okay, but if me wearing makeup once is gonna irritate you, be for real. Like you're lying. Like I don't know what point you're trying to prove, but it's not gonna be proven with me. So I don't know. I think that wraps up this next part though.
mm-hmm.
I don't even know what's left in the book at this point. Like the next couple of chapters,
I
curious
think
to
he
see.
goes into the personality stuff a little bit more. He goes into the agreeableness, let me see, we talked the thrill seeking,
Girl
the
seeking.
neurotic, like personality traits and how they show up in a relationship and which traits are more in line with long-term happiness versus the traits that you need to be cautious about if you start seeing those signs. So
I guess we'll see.
yeah, we will see. We will see.
We'll see what other traits I would like to add to my laundry. To the three wishes.
No, you only have three. I do need to find my list. Though. Did you find yours?
I changed mine
Oh yeah, yeah.
once we read the books, and I'm like, oh, so disingenuous. It's
But
all proper and
do you have like an
logical.
old list from long ago?
No, because it's
Like
on
I
my
downloaded it
phone.
now. Oh, okay. Yeah. I need to look for that one. But yeah, this wraps up the episode. Tell us your thoughts. Tell us what you think about the meeting your friend early on, like bringing the guy to meet your friends early on. Tell us your thoughts. We'd love to
And
hear.
if you made it to this point of the video, comment what your favorite dessert is, if you like dessert.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
All right.
We'll see you all next time. Bye.